Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to the first ever podcast on my channel. That is with Mr. Rahul Sehgal, sir. And we are very fortunate that we are having Mr. Rahul Sehgal on our channel, and he's a very experienced person in this field, the field of game development. And we will be heading towards the video, and we will be discussing about the game development. I'm having all your questions, and I will be asking from him, and also I have some questions of mine, so I will be also asking them. So over to Rahul, sir. Sir, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, everyone. So my name is Rahul Sehgal. I'm a game industry veteran. I've been working in the industry for about 13 years. I have made games on pretty much all the platforms, starting from console to PC to mobile, and also browser games. So I have a day job in which I work in casino gaming, and I work for basically one of the largest real money gaming companies in the world. And that's my day job. And I also have my own course where actually I've been teaching people how to make games, mentoring people, helping them to join the game industry for about 10 years. I used to teach at game colleges. I taught at Backstage Pass. I taught at VIT Bhopal. I taught at Srishti Bangalore. I was teaching there for about 10 years. But then I kind of stopped doing that because I found that they were not really teaching games that the way they are supposed to teach games. So then I set up my own online game school. It's kind of like a academy mentoring system, which is called Gamer to Maker. So that's what I do on the side, and that's all about me.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. And we are having some questions for you that is from our community, and they were very eager to ask some questions from you as you are a very good and very an experienced person in this field. So let's just begin with the questions. Okay, sir.
Sure thing.
Uh, okay, sir. So my first questions are the question from my community that is. Can you share your journey, like when you started the game development, like at what age did you started?
Okay, so I was actually when I was 17 or 18 years old, I wanted to travel the world. I wanted to earn money and I wanted adventurous life. So I joined the Merchant Navy after school. I was in the Merchant Navy for about almost 14 to 15 years. I traveled the world, like earning good money, earning dollars, etc., on in the Merchant Navy, and then at the age of 33 I got fed up because the money and everything was good, but I wanted to do something creative. Also, I used to love playing video games. So I thought, and I used to like to write and play video games. So then it suddenly struck me that a great thing to change over to would be game design, making video games. This is quite late at the age of 33. So then I wanted to change over, and I tried to find out how I could actually learn how to make video games. I tried to do a few things on my own, but then I realized that, like, if you really want to move fast, like if you really want to learn game development and get a job, uh, I need some mentors, I need some instruction, I need to do a course. So then I went to Vancouver Film School. Vancouver Film School has a really good game design diploma program. So I was there. I kind of left my job in the Merchant Navy. I went to Canada. I was in Canada in VFS for about 1 year. And after I finished after I graduated from VFS, then I started working firstly as a freelancer, doing some level design, etc., in Vancouver. And then I got a job. I got an internship with a game company that called Piranha Games, and over there I was working on like Days of Thunder, which is like a NASCAR racing game. I did that for some time, and then I got a job offer as a game designer with Game Loft back in India. So I came back, relocated back to India, and yeah, so that was the start of my gaming career.
Okay, sir. So second question is like, can you give some freelancing tips to the freelancers who are just entering this game development industry, and like they have learned some basics, and like they have learned something and now they want to monetize their passion. So like, what will be the tips from your side?
The thing is, as a freelancer, it's okay, for example, to do freelancing in the game industry for a little amount of time while you're building up your skills, right? I don't recommend freelancing for your entire career, because in my opinion, freelancing is very difficult to get your money from people. Okay, freelancers have a really hard time getting money, dealing with people. um, and I know people who are doing freelancing, and they spend 80% of their time running after money and only 20% of their time working. So freelancing is really hard. It's okay to get started, right? It's okay to get started. But I would say my tip to a freelancer is, don't just go between platforms. Say suppose you're on Fiverr or you're on some particular platform. Reputation really matters, right? So try and not focus on money. Try and focus on building something good. Don't try and take too many projects to earn extra money. Try and do one or two small things really well. That way you'll be able to build your reputation, you'll be able to learn, you'll be able to upskill, you'll be able to build your reputation. So rather than going big and getting lots and lots of projects, I would say get a few projects in the beginning and really excel at them.
Exactly, sir. Okay, so and the next question will be like, your I have joined your Discord server, and there I saw a game, Mayu. So can you
Yes,
tell something about that game to us, to the audience?
sure. So Mayu is a game which I have been working on for about more than a year now, a little bit more than a year. And so for Mayu, what I did was I wanted to create a game which had which was about India and Indian culture, Indian tradition. I've always wanted to make a game like that. But we wanted to make a game which was very authentic, and also we wanted to have a very different kind of art style. So Mayu is basically a game which is set in ancient India, and it's a pixel art role-playing adventure. People who are looking at the game, in fact, right now when I'm talking to you, I'm just talking to my team, getting the trailer for the game ready. When people see this game, they say it reminds us of Zelda, it reminds us of Pokemon, etc. So it is a game in which you play as a demigod who's kind of like, who's a little bit like Mowgli, who has been brought up in the jungle. He prefers to hang around with animals. He's actually in his childhood he was brought up um, in a group of animals and not brought up by humans. So he doesn't like humans too much. He prefers to hang around with animals, and it's an entire journey. It's his coming of age journey, and there are a lot of puzzles in the game. You have to track animals, you have to find animals, you have to find people, and you have to find hidden temples all over the forest, and you have to uncover the story of what happened to your tribe. So the name is Mayu, last of the Yaksa. And very soon the trailer and the Steam page is going to go live. So looking forward to that.
Okay, sir. So the word Mayu, I think that's the name of that character. But does it mean something like? Do you want to show something from that name to the audience, to the players who will be playing that game, Mayu?
So Mayu is essentially, the meaning of the name is connected with nature, right? So his name, he is kind of like a prince of nature. And his name is actually taken from mythology. It's not a name which we have created. It's actually his name is actually taken from mythology. And the idea is that I don't want to reveal too much, because people should be able to play the game and hear the name, and then actually go and do some research and find out a little bit about the background of the character, right? That's also one of the goals of this game, that I want players to go on a discovery of their own culture and traditions by playing this game.
Okay, yeah, exactly, sir. That should be a thing that you should keep for the players as well, that they have to find the mysteries, they have to solve the mysteries. Okay, so next question will be like, this game Mayu, like, why you didn't gone for that AAA title or some 3D game? Why you went for that pixel art, pixel game?
Because 3D games have a completely different dynamic, right? It depends on what the feel, on what kind of emotions you want to arise with the game. Um, Also, it depends on who you have. So my team, I have an artist in my team who happens to be basically India's best pixel artist, right? So if you have someone working for you, her name, her Discord name is Noctiluca, and she's my former student, and she is without doubt the best pixel artist in India, right? She doesn't like she's like, doesn't like showing her face, doesn't like putting herself out there, but she's really, really good, and she is the artist for our game. And we thought, why, if we have an amazing pixel artist, why not make the game in pixel art? And pixel art games have a very, very particular market. There are many, many people who play games essentially because they are pixel art, so they have a very, very particular quality to them, and that's why we wanted to go with that.
Okay, that's a very nice thing. And next question will be that what are your views on VR? Like how one should get started with VR? Shall he or she start individually or with a team or with a company? Like what should he or she do to get started with VR or metaverse?
So basically, VR and the metaverse, I think, is, everyone was expecting VR to really explode. But the problem is that to be a VR player, costs a lot of money. The
Yeah.
equipment is not cheap, especially in India, in which, gamers don't have that much money. Gamers are normally like, they are students. Nobody's going to go to his dad and say, I want a VR headset for so many thousand, 20, 30,000 rupees. Dad will say, क्या बात कर रहे हो, निकलो यहाँ से, अपने pocket money से खरीद लो, you know. So that is basically one of the things which is holding VR back, not just in India, all over the world. So if somebody wants to get into VR, they want to get into metaverse, I would say definitely invest as a player first. Before you become a VR developer, you have to understand the games, you have to understand the medium. You can't be like, I want to be a VR developer, but I don't understand VR games as a player. So first, make sure you play VR games, which means you have to have some, either you borrow it from your friend, whatever, get a VR headset. And then, see, I to start with, it's okay to make some things on your own. But the problem is that most people, they hype up solo development. Okay. And it's not something that I encourage people to just go by yourself, one person, and try making a game. It doesn't work, right? Especially in India, I don't recommend people to try and make complete game projects on their own, because firstly, it's really hard to make a nice polished game on by yourself. It's not just the skills. When you have two or three people working together, when you're cooperating, when you have ideas, when you mix and match ideas, it becomes much, much better. So I would say find a team or join a company, right? It's okay to start off, to learn tools, to make a small clone game, etc., to mess around in Unity, to make like a basic prototype or something, looking at something you saw on the internet or YouTube or whatever. But it's not a good idea to start working on a proper full game project just by yourself. Okay, it's very impractical. So I would say find somebody. Okay, find a group of people. Now the problem is, where do you find people, right? A lot of people come to me saying, sir, how do I find a team, how do I find good people? Which is why I say, okay, join the Gamer to Make a course, right? In the Gamer to Make a course, you have a team ready made. I will help you to form a team. You'll form a group, and I'll mentor you guys. I'll mentor you from beginning to end. I'll mentor you when it comes to like pre-production, coming up with idea, project management, game design, level design, everything. That's what I have to tell them.
Okay, sir. So, whosoever is watching this video, so don't forget to check out his Gamer to Maker course. I will be attaching the link in the description. So don't forget to check out the course. And if you like that thing, so don't hesitate to join the course, because you will be joining the course of one of the most experienced person in this field, I think. Okay, so my next question will be like, a lot of bunch of audience is n- my audience, basically it's under 18 or under 16, under 15. So the question that I get most of the time is that, how to convince our parents for this game development.
Okay, so first thing I'll tell them, sit down with your parents. And I have one video which I have made specifically. So many people are asking the same thing. So I said, okay, I'm going to make a YouTube video specially to show to your parents. And it's actually one of my most watched videos. So I tell them, firstly, send this video link to your dad or your mom and let them watch this. That's the first thing. Secondly, I would say, everybody talks about software development. So if you go to your father and you say, Dad, I want to be a software developer, and I want to be a software developer, and I want to join TCS as software developer. So very good, son, excellent. Go ahead and join, no problem. But if you actually go to glassdoor.com and you open one tab saying software developer salary, enter. It's X amount. You go game developer salary, enter, and you see the difference. Game developer is earning more.
Yeah.
So in today's world, there are too many software developers. Okay, the problem is that parents are stuck in the 5 or 6 years old philosophy that everybody should be an engineer, everybody should be a software developer. Nowadays, software developers are being replaced by AI bots. Okay, so software developer का काम is going to kind of go बहुत कम होने वाला है, whereas game developers salary and jobs etc are going up. Simple research, go on naukri.com and type game developer and you see how many job requirements are there. In India there are hundreds of game studios, billions of dollars are going into the game industry. You tell them to show their parents that there are already two unicorns in the game industry. There are two companies in India which are more than worth $1 billion in the game industry. Okay, so do your research, go and actually research salaries, go and see how many jobs are available on places like naukri.com, Glassdoor, etc., monster.com. Do your research and then sit down and say, Dad, Mom, this is the thing, I'm not joining game development. It is a very good field, the salaries are very good, you can earn good money, here is the proof. Do your research, like don't just talk. Go on your laptop, open up all the tabs and go and show them all the data, all the research that you have done about the game industry. Keep it about data and also show my video. I'll send you the link. You can put it in the description.
Yeah, exactly. I will be putting the link of your channel on my description, because I have gained too much knowledge from there. Like, it's a very knowledgeable channel, your Insta and your YouTube as well. Okay, so my next question will be like, what are your thoughts on NFTs of game, basically how we can monetize our passion, or how we can make money from our games using NFTs
So are you talking as a player or as a developer?
as a developer.
See, as a developer, uh, this way of thinking is not good. The only way to make money with crypto gaming, in my opinion, is to not pretend like it's a earning game, right? The problem is that the hype train is going, and people are saying, oh, come to our game and you will become rich, right? And similarly, game developers are saying that, okay, we're gonna make these crypto games and then we are going to get rich. That's not going to happen. You're going to have normal income like any other game from crypto gaming. The problem is right now, because it's a boom, people don't understand the economy of these games very well. There are some games whose economies are really failing badly. So the economic models of the games which were there before, like Axie Infinity, are under a lot of stress. right? So that economic model is being challenged right now. And there are some other games, which are coming out new, which have much more sustainable um, economic models, right? And these like land rush is a game which is newer, which has a very stable economic model. So if you want to understand crypto gaming, if you're interested in becoming a developer of crypto gaming, firstly, it's not something that one person can kind of do sitting in their basement, right? The investment and the expertise required to actually make a crypto game at this point is absolutely huge. But they should start uh, understanding the economies of the game. Also, I just released a podcast with my friend who is actually something of an expert in the matter, and he talks about all the different jobs which are going to be created. So, because crypto gaming is booming, at least your audience needs to understand that this is a place where a lot of people are going to get jobs at least in the next 5 years, right? So, try to understand the system, especially people who understand multiplayer games, coding, etc., are really going to get good jobs in this field.
Yeah. Okay. So next question will be like, is there any scope, or how much bigger is the scope of a level designer in this gaming industry? Like,
So this
is it more competitive to get into level design, or it is easier to get into level design?
so level design is actually a field in which there are not so many people. Level design, you don't find too many level designers, right? Also, the thing is, level design is a field which you have to have a little bit of a bigger company to have a level design position. Most smaller companies, smaller studios will not have a separate position of level designer. They'll have a game designer who's doing some level design, right? So not all companies will actually have the specific role of a level designer. But if your specialty is level design, and if you are a good level designer, then the scope of it is quite good, right? If you're an experienced level designer, you're definitely going to get a job, um, and you're going to get a decent salary if you know level design. So yes, there is good scope for level designers. Definitely, it's one of the most. I started off my first gig was as a level designer, and it's one of my specialities in fact. Like level design, one of the things I love, and I really try and teach it to the best of my ability to my students of my course as well.
Okay, so next question will be from my side, that sir, how can we improve our workflow of making games? Like, how we can make the games more efficiently, and as well as more fast?
Okay, so uh, remember, there are basically game making. What I teach in Gamer to Maker, there are 4 P's of game making. Okay, the first P is plan. Okay, plan is when you do pre-production of the game. So
Yes.
a lot of people have this dream idea which they have in their head. They say, okay, I have this idea in my head, which is it's just this awesome game, and I'm going to start making it. Okay, that ideally is not the best way to do it. Even if you do have an idea which is in your head, you have to make sure that it is the correct scope. Because what is scope? Scope is कि भैया तुम्हारी औकात है क्या इस गेम बनाने की.
Yeah.
Basically, frankly,
Mm-hmm.
औकात है तुम्हारी, बना सकते हो गेम. So first you have to do pre-production. Before you start a game, you have to make sure that you do good amount of pre-production. Pre-production has several processes. Firstly, there is conceptualization. When you're coming up with a concept, you have to think, can I actually make this game? Is this in my ability? It should ideally be a small polished game, right? Then you have to write a documentation for that game. You have to make sure that you start from a concept document, and you have a good game design document. Even if you're working by yourself, you should have a game design document for your game. Then you have to have some asset lists. What all assets are required for the game? What all 3D assets, 2D assets, sprites, animations, backgrounds, buttons, UI, etc. What all sounds are there? Background sound, SF, special effect sound, death sound, button sound. How many sounds are required? After you have a list of all these things, then you should have like a rough project plan as to when I'm going to do what, how I'm going to do it. So once you do pre-production, this is most people find it a little bit boring. They say, "Arey yaar, this is so boring. I just want to start coding in Unity. I don't want to do all this boring stuff," which is why most projects fail.
Yeah.
If you do a proper pre-production, then your project will go much more smoothly, because firstly, you'll be making something which you can actually complete, right? Otherwise, you'll be trying to make some big AAA massive project which you're never going to complete, and you'll be struggling all the time.
Yeah.
If you do proper planning, then you'll be able to measure your goals. You'll be actually be able to finish your project, and your project will go much smoother.
Okay. So next question. Next question will be like, is there any tips from your side how uh, we can improve our learning skills for game development? Like many people ask me like, from where shall I learn game development? Like, how did you learn game development? How many years, how many months did you took for game development? What is the best way to learn game development? What is the roadmap to become a game developer? So can you summarize that thing?
I'll try and summarize.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, say, suppose you want to go from, where do you live?
I live in Uttarakhand.
You live in Uttarakhand and you want to go to Delhi,
Yeah.
right? What is the fastest way? There are two ways of going from Uttarakhand to Delhi. One is you can walk.
Yeah.
You can start walking, or you can go on your cycle also. It'll
Mhm.
cost you almost nothing. It'll cost you very less money, right? It'll be kind of free. But how long will it take?
Yeah, it will take around, I guess, 10 days, 8 to 10
It'll take
days.
10 days, right?
Huh.
And otherwise, you can take a flight, which will cost you maybe 3,000 rupees. How
Yeah,
long will it take you,
just 2 to 3 hours.
right? So basically, if people are self-learning, it's okay. You can do a little bit of self-learning to learn tools, like learn the basics of Unity. See, self-learning tools is okay by yourself. You can learn how to use Blender, Unity, learn how to use prefabs, etc. The problem is how to implement those tools. Game development is, I call it the game dev iceberg. On top of the iceberg, the part which you see is the game engine, the coding, the art assets, and the idea. Okay, this is the part you see on top. What they don't see is all the other processes, which is like market research, pre-production, data, testing. So many things are there, and they don't see these processes. And these processes are not taught on the internet. You can't go to a YouTube video or a Udemy and learn these processes. You have to either learn them on the job, or you have to get them from a mentor in a course. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you find someone who's experienced from the industry, who's going to teach you this stuff, that's going to be your fastest path.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fastest path of learning. Okay. Now you can say, okay, find a job. But they say, how do I find a job if I don't know these persons? That's why so many people struggle. They make like 1 or 2, 3 clone games, like looking at YouTube videos, etc. And they say, I'm not finding a job. I say, of course, you're not finding a job, because you're only making tiny little games and you're not learning the entire process of game development. So, which is why I tell them, find a course, find a mentor. Okay. This will really speed up your process of getting a job. Instead of trying to save money and spending 3 years, probably in 1 year, you'll achieve the same goal.
Yeah. Great. Okay. So next question will be like, how to, it's a personal question from my side, that whenever we make hyper casual games or whatever game we are making, okay, so how to choose the color theme, or how to choose what type of textures, what type of colors, because hyper casual games, of course, they contains only colors, not textures. But if we talk about these hyper casual games, and so how to choose that color part, because to be honest, I'm very stuck at that thing whenever I go for choosing the colors. So can you just
Okay,
tell me?
so that's a good question. So I would say, remember that you have the eyes, the human eyes also, they get fatigued. Okay, if now I'm showing you something, if this wall behind me was bright green and orange, then the viewers watching this video, after 5 minutes, they start feeling like, oh man, like this eye is, in the beginning it looks nice,
Yeah.
oh it's nice and bright, but after a few minutes your eyes start getting tired of
Yeah.
seeing such bright colors, right? So which is why I would tell them, in generally in a game, if you want players to play for longer, choose a more subtle color palette generally. Okay, overall, choose a more subtle color palette. Even if you want to have nice colors, bright colors, keep the saturation of the colors a little bit on the low side. Okay, however, if there are some things, some particular objects that you want players to really concentrate on, like a coin or something which needs to be picked up, right, something which you want to draw the player's attention to, that you can make it gold or red or orange or bright. But try and not tire out your players with bright colors all the time, all over your game.
Okay.
Okay, so be very aware of the fatigue in the eyes of your players whenever you're making a game.
Okay, so last question will be that it's also my personal question, that can we get a job in AAA company, like AAA company? Let's talk about Rockstar Games or any AAA company we will talk about. So can we get a job in that company by showing our LinkedIn profile or only portfolio? So can we get the job there?
You can definitely get a job, but thing is, a portfolio is everything, right? A portfolio is not something that you just go and you order on Amazon and you get a beautiful portfolio delivered to you within 5 days. Like, I have a nice portfolio, now give me a job. Your portfolio is your work, it's your games. So if you want to join a AAA company, remember, you have to show very high quality, world class work in your
Okay.
portfolio. Okay, so it's no use to have 10 solo projects in your portfolio. That's not going to work. Or as an artist, 100 bad 3D models. It's
Yeah.
much better to have one game which is a polished, high quality game with some complexity, which you have made in a group, right? And you can talk about what was my role, what did I did, what did I learn, what are the
Yeah.
processes I went through, right? So it's much better to have one good game. Also remember, group project, because if you're
Hmm.
going for in AAA, you're going to work in a studio with 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay, so they if you're only working on solo project, this is how come you're not working with people? You don't like working with people? If you don't like working with people, then we are not going to hire you. You have to show them that you know how to work in a team and you know how to make a high quality game. So portfolio is very, very important. If you want to join at entry level, you're not going to have much on LinkedIn. LinkedIn becomes more powerful tool as you become more senior. Like at my level, when I have like 10 to 15 years of experience, then like people will call you for jobs just by looking at your LinkedIn profile. They look at your LinkedIn profile, they'll say, okay, wow, this person experience here, okay. They'll just contact you and say, hey, you want a job? So in the beginning, portfolio is very important. As you get more senior, your portfolio becomes less important and your LinkedIn profile starts to become much more important. So in the beginning, at the entry level, portfolio is most important, much more important than LinkedIn.
Okay, so one more question I got from this question only, like a 3D modeler will show his 3D models in his portfolio. Designer will show his, I guess, GDD or designs or art in his portfolio. Now, what will a programmer will show in his portfolio?
Exactly the same thing. So if you're a programmer, you have to show your games. You
Okay.
have to show games in your portfolio also, right? But you have to talk about what you have done in that game. So you can show a game, you can show a trailer of the game in your portfolio, and you can say, okay, in this particular game that I created, I implemented this. I implemented a basic multiplayer. I created a brand new shader by myself. I created a pathfinding system. I created basic AI bot, or I actually created a kind of like a level editor by myself so that I could create the levels for this game. I actually created a tool by myself. So you have to show the game, and you have to talk about what you have learned, what programming tasks you implemented in that game in your portfolio. That's the most important thing.
Okay. So these were all of the questions that were from, these are the selective questions that are from my community and from myself. There were too many questions, but actually those are something which you have already answered on your channel or Instagram post. So I will be saying that if you want answer of all the questions, those are not answered here. So please check his Instagram and YouTube as well. Okay. So the last thing that you want to say to game developers from your side.
Right. So, what I would say to all of you guys who want to make video games is, firstly, making video games is awesome. Don't give up on your dreams. All right. Don't let any parents or relatives or brother or sister convince you that making games is not a good career. It's an amazing career, right? Firstly, remember that. Secondly, be aware to not have wrong expectations. You have to have the right expectations. Don't expect that straight away. If you play God of War, don't expect that within 1 year of joining the game industry, you're going to be making God of War, and you're going to be working on Battlefield, and you're going to be making like GTA within 1 year. You have to start making very, very simple games. You have to have your ego and your expectations under check, and then you have to rise. And someday, hopefully, you'll be making those kind of games, but you have to have your expectations right. Okay. Also, I want to tell them, do a course. Okay. It's very, very important to understand what game development is all about. So try and find a mentor, try and find a good course, somebody who's going to actually teach you the proper process of game development. So don't waste too much time just sitting on your computer and watching random videos and trying to make a game. So have some kind of structure to your learning. That's going to be very helpful.
Okay. So as he mentioned that do find a mentor and do find someone who can I guess who can guide you in your this game development field. So you can just as I already said that you can check out link of Gamer to Make a course in my description, and I will be mentioning the link there, and you can just check out the course and you can join the course. Okay, sir, thank you so much for coming to my channel, coming to this podcast, and I'm very glad that you have came here and answered the questions of my audience and of myself as well. And I would also like to wish you best of luck for your game, that is Mayu, and I hope that that game will uh, make India feel proud.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you calling me on the show. And hello to all your subscribers. All the best. Hopefully, we'll do this after some time once again. Okay.
Yeah, exactly, sir. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.